Hey, it's Yuka, and today we have the new M3 MacBook Air 13-inch. Apple sent a review unit to test out, so here's an early look at the features of the M3 MacBook Air. The M3 MacBook Air comes in two sizes, 13-inch and 15-inch, and the colors are the same as the M2 Air with Midnight, Starlight, Space Gray, and Silver. The Midnight color got a new anodization seal to reduce fingerprints, and I think it works pretty well. It's not completely fingerprint proof, so if you just cannot stand any fingerprints, I would still recommend going for the other lighter colors. But the Midnight color is absolutely stunning, and the anodization seal definitely helps maintain it. The M3 chip comes in 8-core CPU, 8 or 10-core GPU, up to 24 GB of unified memory, and up to 2 TB of SSD. The ports are still the same with MagSafe 3 charging port and 2 Thunderbolt USB 4 ports on the left side, and one 3.5 headphone jack on the right. The display is a liquid retina display, and they have added support for up to 2 external displays, which I'll talk about in a moment. The keyboard is still the same with a full-height function keys and Touch ID. It has a 1080p FaceTime HD camera, and the 13-inch has a 4-speaker sound system, and the 15-inch has 6. Both sizes support spatial audio and Dolby Atmos. The M3 MacBook Air also now supports Wi-Fi 6E. With the M3 MacBook Air, you can now connect up to 2 external displays, but the MacBook Air has to be closed in clamshell mode. When you have 2 displays connected and you open the lid again, the second monitor you plugged in will go dark. So basically, it still only supports 2 displays, but now one of them can be another external display. M3 MacBook Pro 14-inch, which initially only supported 1 external monitor, is getting the same 2 external display ability with a macOS update. The performance of the M3 chip is a step up from M2, gaining about 20% in CPU and 10% in GPU. The 512GB SSD speed was also faster than the M2. Opening up Blender is a little bit faster on M3 than M2, but it's so fast to begin with, to be honest. Render times also improved through my initial testing. Another thing that's new to the M3 MacBook Air is that now we have hardware-accelerated mesh shading and ray tracing, which makes the lighting, reflections, and shadows in games more realistic. By the way, macOS Sonoma has game mode that puts the Mac's GPU and CPU resources to prioritize the game experiences instead of using it for other background tasks when turned on. Now let's compare the Apple Silicon MacBook Airs. The M1 MacBook Air, which had the older taper design, is now out of the official lineup. M2 MacBook Air got a liquid retina display, and the FaceTime HD camera got upgraded to 1080p, got support for spatial audio, and felt like a huge jump, especially because the casing design also got a refresh. M3 MacBook Air got support for 2 external displays, hardware-accelerated ray tracing, which might not seem like a lot, but the overall performance of the CPU, the GPU, and neural engine also got a bump. Some of you might be considering the M3 MacBook Air as their first Mac or upgrading from an Intel Mac. If you upgrade from an Intel Mac, this will feel like night and day, even if you're comparing from an Intel MacBook Pro. Before I got my M1 Max MacBook Pro, I was using an Intel MacBook Pro 16-inch, which I loved because it was so powerful at the time. But the benchmarks tell me that this M3 MacBook Air now has twice the performance than the 16-inch MacBook Pro that I was using before. It's so insane to think about how far the Apple Silicon chip has come. One of the interesting things in the M3 MacBook Air press release was how they had an entire section about AI. AI isn't really a new feature and has been available across Macs and even iPhones, but some of the AI features and capabilities might not be something that you have recognized as AI. Maybe when you think of AI, you think of things like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. You can use those services on the Mac, but you are connected to the internet and sending data back and forth from their servers. The other way you can use AI on your Mac is on-device. This uses a neural engine cores to work within your device. Some examples are when you're using text to edit on DaVinci Resolve or voice isolation, or when you're editing photos in Luminar Neo using their AI edit feature to reduce motion blur. FreeChat allows you to download entire LLMs to run directly on the Mac without internet connections. macOS itself has features that uses on-device AI, such as text recognition on photos, presenter overlays, and reactions. Some of the accessibility features also uses AI. All M1, M2, M3 MacBook Airs have the same 16-core neural engine, but the M3 has the fastest chip, so the AI performance has also gone up. It's interesting that Apple has been communicating their AI efforts recently, and it makes me excited for other software updates like iOS 18 or the rumored smarter Siri using AI. With the release of the M3 MacBook Air, which starts at $1099, Apple has reduced the price of the M2 MacBook Air and it now starts at $999. M3 has the best performance, but if you don't need 2 extra monitors and don't need hardware accelerated ray tracing, this could be a great option. Even better if you want to use the extra few $100s to upgrade the memory. Hope this video was helpful for you and let me know if you have any questions. Bye! Bye!